Well, hi, hello, and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm talking all about time management for artists. Yes, you know that thing where the week passes you by, you look back and you think, what did I get done? Or even worse, you leap out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning, the next thing you know it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're thinking to yourself, I haven't really got done what I'd like to have got done. And in fact, I'm not sure what I have got done at all, right? And if you're not careful, you could end up beating yourself up over all the things that you didn't get done. Well, in order to avoid all of that and make sure that you're super focused, on task, getting where you want to go, but not only that, feeling good about your life, feeling good about your art, feeling good about your business, and creating that beautiful balance that we all aspire to, then time management tips are really going to help you. And that's the core of this video. So I hope you enjoy the content. Stay right to the end because I always share a little bonus something at the end of the video. So without further ado, my name's Sophie Mahir and I help artists just like yourself to make a living from your art or creativity by building a stable, profitable business doing what you love. Now, if that's you and you're looking to build that business and you'd like some more tips and tricks on exactly what you should be doing, then you've landed in the right place. This is the channel where I make all those videos, all things art business related. And sometimes we tip over the edge into all sorts of other things as well. So let's go ahead and dive straight in and looking at those top 10 tips. All right, so tip number 1, you need to understand that you're managing yourself and not just the time. It's so easy to say, hey, time management tips, but actually it's how we use our time. Time is the most precious commodity you can have. Forget the money you need to put into the business. The bigger thing you're going to put into building your business is your time. And so therefore, you really want to understand that the person operating the time is you. We've all got the same 24 hours in a day, right? Now it's up to you how you utilize those. Do you use them really well and get great results? Or do you just drift haphazardly through the 24 hours and then think, well, that wasn't so great. Let's see if tomorrow is better. All right. So tip number 1, become really consciously aware that you are the one responsible for what you do with your time. All right, tip number 2, I would actually get everything out of your head onto paper. So if you haven't already, grab yourself a big sheet of paper and do a complete brain dump of everything, you know, all those little things. And then you start categorizing it. It could be, there's life items, there's art and creativity items, there's more business, marketing, sales items, admin items. Is it tax return time? That item, all right? All the different things that are taking up your headspace right now. And a really simple way of doing it, like I said, put it on a sheet of paper, grab some colored markers, circle round them, or do it on post-it notes and categorize them. And so that you end up with some simple short lists of all the things that are in your head in different kind of areas of your life. So that's the first thing, you've got it out of your head, so you're not going to take up time thinking about things, and we've got it down onto paper. Tip number 3 now is you've got to get great with planning. So you might have got everything out of your head, but actually what you want to be doing is getting really, really good with planning. Now coming up after this video, I'm going to be doing lots of short videos giving you planning and organization tips. But really, the key thing is to plan as much as you can. We're talking about big picture planning, from annual plan, quarterly plans, monthly plans, weekly plans. And you might go, oh my God, Sophie, I don't want to do all of that. Trust me, the better you get at planning, the better you get at your time. And the quicker you can get to do the things that you don't enjoy quite so much, you know, all that business, marketing, sales, admin, all that sort of stuff, the more time you will have to be creative and the better work-life balance you'll be able to create for yourself. So 100%, you need to overcome that fear of planning or put past that kind of belief that planning isn't for artists. Planning is 100% for artists. The better you get at it, the more productive you're going to be. So that's tip number 3. So tip number 4 is to find a system that works for you. Everybody watching this video is going to be different. Some people will just operate their whole life off those lists. Other people will use mind maps. Some people will use apps on their phone. Some people will use spreadsheets. Now I've got a video coming up on all the sort of tools that I use or we use to run this business and the other business as well, 2 businesses. So if you're looking for that information, look out for that video. But really you've got to find the right way of doing it that works for you. So don't just try one way and then say, hey, this isn't working for me. Try something else. In order to really get as efficient as you possibly can, you're probably going to have gone through various different ways of, planning your week or running your days differently. Maybe you have Monday, Wednesday, Friday to do one particular side, and then Tuesday and Thursday to do something else. And you find, oh, that doesn't really work. Maybe I'll try using a whiteboard and I'll write up what I need to do on the whiteboard. Oh, I never look at that. That doesn't work. Maybe I'll get an app on my phone with reminders of what I'm doing. Whatever it is, you've got to start finding a system that's going to work for you and that enables you to use your time as efficiently as you possibly can. So as I say, look out for other videos. I'm going to help you with different ways of doing that. Then tip number 5, always break everything down into small bite-sized chunks. Whatever project you've got going on, if it seems really big, you'll avoid it, right? You'll spend the whole day doing lots of quick wins. You'll look at your list, or you'll look at your, the way that you've organized, perhaps in your spreadsheet or daily to-dos, however you're going to organize yourself. And you'll spend all day avoiding what you really should be doing because it seems too big. You've written on your list, reorganize my website. What does that mean actually? What do I mean by that? Or update my website, or plan out the next exhibition. That's a huge task. What do we actually mean? So the moment you start to break it down, if it's the website, you break it down, you go, okay, I need to look at all the pages. I need to look at all the images and recreate new images. I've got to write new copy for this page, and then the other page, and then the other page. And you keep breaking it down and breaking it down until the task feels like, oh, I can do that. I'm really clear. I know what that task is. I can do that. Because this is one of the biggest mistakes artists and business owners make in general, is putting something on a to-do list that's actually not a task at all. It's actually a project. All right, so updating the website is a project and it will contain multiple tasks. So what you want to make sure that on your day-to-day, you've just got simple tasks, because otherwise when it comes to managing your time, you will spend, like I said, all day avoiding it or wondering about it or thinking about it or stressing about it and then bumping it on to the next day. So the real key here is each task needs to be small and bite-sized. So have a look at the list, have a look at all the lists, have a look at any which way that you're managing your business. I say whether you're using spreadsheet or paper or the whiteboard or the apps, and make sure everything is broken down into small bite-sized chunks. If you look at that item and you think, oh, that seems overwhelming, or I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do, break it down again until you can look at it and you go, I know what that is, that's great, I can do that. And then you can allocate it, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, like however you're going to work your day. All right, tip number 6, one of my all-time favorites, and I use it all the time, especially when I have tasks to do that I don't particularly want to do. All right, we've all got them. Use a timer. All right, whether it's on your phone, whether it's good old-fashioned kind of, kitchen timer that you turn like that, whatever type of timer. I like to work in 25 minutes, chunks of 25 minutes. That's using the Pomodoro method, where you do 25 minutes of activity, and then you maybe do some hop, skip, jumping, grab yourself a cup of tea, fresh air. You do something for a couple of minutes to change your energy, and then you go back and do another 25 minutes. You'll be way more productive if you use a timer and you just get the tasks done. Trust me. And I say, perfect for doing the things that you're not so excited about doing. Tip number 7, take that a little bit further, take regular breaks. All right, there's nothing worse than you just getting stuck in something. Now, no matter whether that's your creativity, your artwork, or whether that's doing business or marketing, whatever it is, that first chunk of time when you first get into it, you'll be the most productive. And then after half an hour or an hour, you'll really not be working at your optimal. So if you've said, oh, I know, I'm going to work on that website project for 4 hours in the morning, that first half an hour, you'll be really on it, really focused, you'll get a lot done. The second half an hour, you'll be like, okay, it's beginning to drag a little bit now. And if you keep pushing without breaks, without changing up what you're doing, you'll find that those second 2 hours, you're probably doing 20% of what you were doing before, and you would be 80% active at the beginning, and the last few hours 20%. Have you ever allocated a whole day to get something done and found that the second half of the day has really dragged and you've really not been very good at it at all? Taking breaks helps you to stay focused and stay on task. So if you said, okay, I'm going to do that whole website task in the morning, don't just sit there for 4 or 5 hours. Do your 25 minutes, get up, go outside, do something outside for 5-10 minutes. If you've got a skipping rope, do some skipping, or go for a walk and post some letters, or do something that changes the energy. Put a music on, a big bouncy song while you make yourself a coffee in the kitchen. Something like that just breaks up the energy. Ideally, it's you physically moving, and then you go back, sit back down again, use your timer if need be, and off you go again. Really, really important. Break things up. Don't use it, however, as an excuse to go off and do the laundry and the washing up and the things you don't need to do. Stay very conscious of your time, like we said at the beginning. People who are really highly productive get way more done. So if you're using the tools and you're using them well, you'll find that you really work at your optimal. All right, the next one is a boundary issue. And this is particularly important if you work from home. All right, tip number 8 is learn to say no. Now, it's one of the very first things that I learned actually when I became self-employed back in the day. And somebody rang me and said, oh, you're at home, can I come round for a tea, coffee? Yeah, sure. And then you sit there looking at your time thinking, oh my God, that's an hour and a half, and they're still talking. And, it's been very nice having that cup of tea, but you've now lost half your morning and you haven't got anything done. And then you can end up going into that spiral of beating yourself up, feeling bad about it, feeling stressed about it. So just be very boundaried. I'm working during the week, and this is when we can meet up for a cup of tea or coffee. But even about business things, someone says, hey, do you want to do that group? Do you want to do a group show with me? Or do you want to add that exhibition on? Or do you want to run that workshop? Or could you come and give a talk to this group? If it's not on your plan, or if it doesn't feel right, or if it's going to tip you over that kind of overwhelm, just say no. It's really simple. People are really cool with that. You can just say, oh, thank you so much for asking. That sounds like a really exciting project. I'm going to have to say no right now because I've got a lot on my plate. And on you move. That energy of saying no to things, remember that every time you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. You're saying yes to your art, yes to your creativity, yes to your business, no to distractions. Thank you very much. All right. Tip number 9. Try and keep your tasks to 1 to 5 in the day. So there's nothing worse than you writing a to-do list. You pulled some things off those lists, you've done some planning, you're like, I've got this project on and that project on. These are all the things I should get done today. And the list looks like that. I don't know about you, but that is going to look overwhelming. It's going to feel overwhelming, and you're going to feel like you're failing before you've even started. So feel free to write it out and then go through with a highlighter pen. Here's the one thing I must get done today. If you only had to do one thing off that list of, say, 20 items, which one would it be? It's not the quickest, it's not the shortest, it's the one that's going to help you move your art business and your art career forward the most. So to give you an example, I did decide that today would be an admin-y day and I would have lots of little tiny tasks. So I broke them all down into minute tasks. So I was very clear what they were, and I did write them all out, and they were an overwhelmingly looking long list. So I took a red pen and I put red dots next to the 5 things that really had to happen today. And then I asked myself the question, if I could only do one thing, what's the most important out of these entire list of things? And so I chose the one thing that I knew in the long term would take my business forwards. So if something happens, you know, you get that emergency call and you have to go away and do something, or something happens, you trip, you fall, you sprain your ankle and you're sat there and you can't do much for the rest of the day. You get the idea. You need to make sure that the most important task gets done first. I can't stress that enough. The most important task gets done first. The other items that are leading up to your 5 that are super important, must sort of happen today, they get done next. And everything else may not get done at all. And you need to be okay with that, all right? Because we'll never get to the bottom of the to-do list. You'll never get done all the things that you should get done or could get done in order to run the business. So in the end, you have to get great at making decisions. Which is the most important? Make the decision, move on. Allow the rest of the stuff to fall away, because it probably wasn't that important anyway, or maybe you can carry it over tomorrow, and if it ends up at the bottom tomorrow, carry it over one more day. If it's still at the bottom, you can probably just rub it straight off the board. It doesn't need to happen at all. All right, tip number 10, and this is really, really important. You want to clear out all distractions. So what do I mean by that? The phone on silent, or put it on airplane mode so it doesn't ring, it doesn't ping, all notifications switched off, the email closed. You need to make sure that you're just focusing on the thing that you need to be doing. So if you're working on a specific project and you know I've got a 30-minute task, just have the items related to that task right there and make sure that that's the only thing you're doing, and you're not being pinged on Instagram because somebody liked your post and you're thinking, oh, I better quickly answer to that. Oh, they sent me a message too, off we go. Because distraction is the biggest enemy of productivity, all right? So if you want to be highly productive, you want to manage yourself and your time really, really well, you just can't allow those distractions to happen. And the best way to stop them, turn them off, all right? Get rid of the notifications on your phone, get rid of them on your computer, turn everything off, you know, turn the windows that are perhaps open on your browser, get rid of them, lose them, you don't need them. Only have open the one thing you are working on at the time. And if that's your artwork and you're in your studio, same thing applies. I don't know about you, but I'm certainly not answering my phone when I'm in mid-flow. Everything just goes out of the room. All right, so that's my top 10 tips. I did say if you're still here, which I hope you are, and just staying right to the end, I'm going to give you a bonus time management tip. Okay, now this might sound crazy, but hear me out. My bonus tip is to keep your workspace clear and clean. And that means tidying the studio or tidying the space that you're in. So many times I've seen shots of people's desk with stuff piled here, stuff piled there, stuff on the floor. I actually looked at a time management video on YouTube the other day and was really amused. The guy who was filming it had got this big pile of laundry behind him and it was all kind of falling down. There was stuff in this place. Needless to say, I didn't get very far in the video. I was just intrigued by the title. I thought, oh, let's see what this is about. But I couldn't watch it because there was so much stuff in the background of the video. So it's not necessarily about that. It's about if you've got a crowded space, it's lots of stuff that's going to take up your headspace. And if it's taking up your headspace, you're not using your time effectively. So there's two areas that we like to keep clean. One is the studio. You know, the materials clean and clear, the working space. I'm doing that, you can't see, but there's a table here. I've got paints laid out, brushes, palette knives, the working boards, all the stuff that I use, plus my trolleys, etc. And they're all clear and clean and tidy, ready for me to just dive straight in. I haven't got to move things out of the way. I haven't got any distraction. I've just got current project. And the same goes with a table or desk that you're perhaps running your business on. If it's piled high with folders and rubbish, then you're not going to have that clear mind to work on the project. So get in the habit of filing things, putting them away. What's that piece of paper doing? Have I dealt with it? Can I get rid of it? Can I recycle it? Do I need to keep it? If so, where's it going? So if you get into a habit of doing that every day, that you just clear it all away so that when you walk in, clear desk, computer, file, just everything that you need right there. And I promise you, you're going to save yourself so much of time and you'll feel so free. Your energy will be lifted because you're like, oh, this is what I'm doing today. I don't have to worry about all this stuff around me. All right, I hope you've loved the bonus tip. I hope you love my top 10 tips for time management for us artists. Don't forget, if you've loved the content of this video, give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I put a video out every single week on a Wednesday. And I'd love for you to be here for the next videos as well because they're all on productivity and planning. And again, just expanding this whole idea and getting much more productive as artists so you get your business run in small amount of time and have plenty of time to do your creativity and still build something that's profitable and ultimately becomes your dream art business. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Please go off and be highly productive. Use your time well. If you've loved the tips, leave me a comment below. I'd like to know which one resonated with you, which ones you do, and any other time management tips that you use in your day-to-day art practice. All right, thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.